This right here is the Sony Fe 16-35mm f4 ZA or ZA OSS lens for your Sony mirrorless camera, both full frame and APS-C, and I wanted to know if this lens was any good, so I took it out to the snow. I took it out to an empty city, did some other stuff as well. But is it any good? What's happening, guys? Gary Yaman here, back at it again with a new video. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe and healthy. Let's begin right away with this video. As always, going to divide this video in several sections, and the first section that we are going to discuss is the build quality. So this lens, as you see right here, at first glance, it looks really nice and compact, quite small, also quite light, around 517-18 grams. And you know, in overall how it looks, it's really nice, and it has that Zeiss little logo on it. Makes you feel a little bit special, you know? And that Zeiss little logo means that this lens at least has some kind of anti-flaring or anti-glare and anti-flaring going on. It will minimize ghosting and flaring and stuff like that. So a really nice option on this lens. Furthermore, on the side, we don't have any options like buttons or anything. The focus ring and the zoom ring feels really nice and very like premium. I think it feels really premium to my own experience. And the front element is a 72mm filter thread. So in overall, you know how it feels in hand, quite compact and lightweight as I mentioned, and also it is moisture and dust resistant, so it doesn't have any trouble when it comes down to like bad weather conditions. For extreme weather conditions, you know, I still recommend using a rain cover just to be more careful and more safe, you know what I mean? Price of this lens comes in around 1,000 euros or 1,100 US dollars, somewhere in that ballpark. And I also think that Sony has a cashback action right now. So the build quality, at least to my own opinion, I really like it. And let's continue on to the more interesting stuff, and that is the image quality. For both photo and video, by the way. So as I mentioned in the intro, I took this lens out in the snow because it was snowing just for one day here in the Netherlands. And I took it out to The Hague, the place that I love because I used to live there. But now because of this lockdown and many restrictions out here now in the Netherlands, you know, the whole city was just empty and very strange because usually it's very busy, especially in the weekends. And now it's just very empty and quiet. So, and as you see, there are some limitations. There are some distortion things going on, but I wanted to make sure if that is true, also open in the field, in this case, The Hague City. And as I mentioned, lockdown here in the Netherlands, empty streets, empty cities. This is what you get, right? So also it was a little bit rainy. So it was there was a lot of dramatic stuff going on, and that is something that I actually really like, even though it's actually really terrible. As an artist or as a photographer, you want to capture those moments, you want to capture the ambiance, if you know what I mean, right? So this quiet city, people are a little bit like depressed and stuff like that. What I saw is that this lens could capture it all, but there were also a lot of distortions and also a lot of that purple fringing going on. And usually with those kind of things, you can adjust that in post. So you can just edit that out of this photo, but it will take a lot of time. And you know, for me personally, I don't really like to like change that or edit that out of the photo. I just want to see how the photo looks without me editing too much out of it. So as you see here, we got that purple fringing going on, and in this photo right here, we got a lot of distortion. But in general, can you capture the ambiance? Can you capture that vibe of the city, of an empty street kind of city? Answer is yes, you can do with this lens. Also, my kids had a little school assignment. You know, they are also at home, working from home and doing this stuff. And they got this little photography assignment. And it was grab a picture of a real painting, like a famous painting, and replicate that in your own kind of with your own clothes and own style and stuff like that. So that was a great chance for me to use this lens with a with some flashes, you know. So here are the results. So this, and I'm pretty sure that you know these pictures or these paintings, and it works pretty fine. Also for video, I really like that you have that wide angle option. You know, that's the nice thing about the 16-35mm is that you have that nice range of 16 all the way up to 35. And I'm not a wide angle kind of guy, so using the 16 all the way up to 20 or 22 millimeters is something challenging for me, I guess. Usually I'm above like 28 all the way up to 70 millimeters. That is kind of my range, but in this case 16-35 is really a nice pleasure to walk around the city. And as you see in the photos and videos right here, everything looks pretty cool, pretty nice. But there are some limitations for both photo and video. As I mentioned, the distortion and the purple fringing. Also, when it comes down to sharpness, it's not the sharpest tool in the world, but still it's sharp enough, at least for my own personal use. So a quick recap of the image quality for both photo and video. That is that this lens can produce really nice images, but keep in mind that it does have limitations such as distortion, purple fringing, and it's a little bit soft on f4, right? Also, if f4 is not your thing, you really want the shallow depth of field, and then I really consider a different option such as the 16-35 f2.8 G master lens from Sony, but that will cost you twice as much as this one. Or you might opt for the 14-24 millimeters from Sigma, and that is way cheaper. It's almost like the same price as this one, I think. And you also got the Tamron 70-28. That's also something that you want to consider as an f2.8 lens. Alright, let's talk about the next section, and that is the performance. And with the performance, I mean the autofocus performance and just how it just works in general. And this is of course a Sony native lens, meaning it has that great autofocus that you want and that you expect from a Sony body with a Sony lens. And you'll see that in this little footage, this little clip, you will see that it works perfectly fine for both photo and video. As you see, autofocus works at 16 millimeters and also at 35. It just works without no hiccups or hesitations, and it's also very snappy and very fast. So in regards to performance, autofocus performance, it works perfectly fine, and I really like it. So we come to the end of this video, of this little review. Just a small recap. When it comes down to build quality, it's a very solid build quality and also very lightweight, and that's also what I really like. I really like the focal length 16-35. When it comes down to image quality, there are some limitations that you have to think about. That is the purple fringing and the distortion. And also it's a little bit soft, on the softer side, but you can adjust those limitations in post if you really want to. But that is something that you have to consider. And thirdly, the autofocus performance of this is actually really, really good. So in general, do I recommend this lens? The answer is yes, but just keep in mind that you might have to work a little bit more in post in order to remove those limitations. So the purple fringing and the distortion. I think that's it, guys. I think that's all for today. Thank you again for watching. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are having a good time and a good day, even with this whole pandemic situation going on. So if you just want to chat or want to hang out, check out my Instagram, send me a DM, and then, share some pictures with me. Then we can have a little, be more outside of your own little world. And I will show you some pictures of here in the Netherlands, how the situation is going on with this whole pandemic. I think that's something that we can do, right? So I think that's all. Yeah, that's all. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you in the next one. Good luck.